You're recording me? The hell is this all about? I was like, I mean, some people got weird feet.
Some people do have weird feet. I agree. Welcome back to Heard You Like It Raw. I'm your host, Nicolina, diving deep into the raw truths of life, coming at you live this week with one of my dearest friends, Alex Vinas. Today, we are going to be covering various topics under the sun with my personal guru and bestie. When I met this person, I had no idea how much he would impact my life. Someone who has not dealt a fair share of life's cards and still remains this radiating, loving light of a being. You should feel lucky if you've ever been graced by his presence. Alex, welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm still trying to find all the cards. I was dealt a half a pack of Uno when I was born. So yeah, but I'm playing little spades nowadays.
Yeah. Well, Uno
Yeah,
is on other people.
yeah. +8, +16. Keep it going around.
Yeah, we're just stacking them all up as we go.
It's freaking karma, man.
Oh, it's so funny. You
It's a
are.
good metaphor.
No, that is a good metaphor. You said I was dealt. Uno.
But I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. How are you?
Amazing. That's absolutely amazing. What are you working on currently in your life right now?
Currently, I've got little ambitions, little dreams and side projects, but at the moment, just working on getting my finances in order, paying my debt down, getting
Okay.
financially stable to, it's the first, it's all an all-encompassing like health wellness kind of idea, right? But
Hmm.
it's just one of the aspects of life that I can start tackling now. And then
Yeah.
the sleeping and eating and exercising, it all come,
Hmm.
when it's meant to come and stuff like that.
We'll
But
pick the
no,
moment.
I've been like writing like songs lately.
I love that.
Like random, not whole songs, but like little like rap lyrics will come to mind and I'll like write little verses and
I
I'll
remember
kind of like put it on a little napkin.
the one you showed me over the summer. What was that one lyric that was like it got me? I can't even remember.
Was it fuck spooky bitches or something like that?
Yeah, it was something like that. That's
I have it written down somewhere.
oh,
I'm not a freestyler, but I feel like I could write some poetry or something.
you definitely can. You can always do what you put your mind to.
Yeah. Other than that, just making drinks.
Oh yeah.
Just having a good time, making people
Bartending,
happy.
amazing.
Yeah.
I can't believe I met you like how long? It's been almost 3 years now that we've been friends, and it feels like a lifetime ago, especially for me because I don't even bartend anymore. So
Yeah. It does feel like a long time ago, and especially because that was the COVID year.
yeah.
That's kind of like our generation's 9/11. Not that it was as, I mean, like it doesn't hit the same because it wasn't like, you know, a fucking terrorist attack and didn't happen all at once and so
Right.
shockingly. But yeah, it's kind of like a bookmark moment in our consciousness. We're all going to be like, where were you at that point in time? And
Yeah.
I think since then, time has just felt really weird.
Yeah.
It's next year, like it's about a month away, and it'll have been 4 years since COVID, which is just strange to think about.
That is
You
strange.
know, and like I don't know, the whole world felt like it was all happening, like everything was kind of going at its pace up until that point.
Mhm.
We're young, living our best lives, and
Literally.
then all of a sudden, like everyone gets their life turned upside down. Um,
That
but
will.
everything has been so different. Like life couldn't be any more different. Like at least for me, like that was when I went from working at Universal Studios to working like in like nice craft cocktail bars in downtown Orlando.
Mhm.
Um, so that was a huge change for like my career, and my finances and my friends that I made after that. Like it's just such a night and day, chapter one, chapter two kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like if you put it like compared to everybody's like lives before and after, I feel like everybody probably has so many different people in their life, like a whole new friend group, whole new job and everything. It was like a huge reality check for everybody because I mean, at least for most people that, aren't as self-aware and ever went through therapy or just ever noticed any mental health issues, all that stuff was brought up for them during COVID. And like after that, they had all these like,
Yeah.
self-actualization moments and shit, like, oh shit, I actually hate my life. I hate this. I hate that. I hate this about myself. Like, and it was
Yeah.
this,
It's like the come down.
yeah, but things have to die in order to be born. We needed that, in a way, universal healing. And another thing, one of my favorite things that's taken away from that is people actually wear masks when they're sick now.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, should have been
That's
doing it.
we're adopting a bit of international culture a little bit when it comes to the gravity of things like that, for sure. Yeah. And I love that about like people really having to face their traumas and their inner workings and in that big dead span of silence, in that part of our lives. It's so true.
Exactly. Something I
It's a
forgot.
psychedelic thing.
It is. It is. Something I wanted to do right when we started the episode was whenever
Mhm.
I have guests on, since you're my first guest, starting this with you, and I wanted to do a favorite memory of each other.
Favorite memory of each other.
Yeah.
Um, mine would definitely be my favorite memory of you. Hold on. There's a roster.
Yeah, there is. I can tell you mine.
Okay.
Oh, you got it?
No, go ahead. Give me yours.
Okay, mine isn't like necessarily a specific thing, but just my favorite memory that you do constantly is when you call me Procalino. Like every time you go Procalino, I'm like, oh, that's like it's just so good. So serotonin.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with my initial thought was the night that me, you, and Kelly went to, or you, Kelly, and I should say,
Yeah.
that we went to Suffering Bastard and had a couple drinks, and I think you bought me a drink or someone bought me a drink, and man, two drinks there is five, and
Yeah,
that ride home was so emotional, and I'll never forget like being able to just like cry like a baby and
literally.
just be like open and stuff like that. It was such a core memory.
Yeah, no, honestly, for me too. I mean, Kelly and I will laugh about that. So fucking funny. I saw so many versions of you that night, and it is true. That place up,
Yeah,
literally, that place up Bastard does you dirty. They always win.
like get your alcohol, get out.
Yeah,
Like that's it.
literally. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh, that was such a good time when we worked together. Such a core memory I've never had.
It'll
Coworkers.
never exist again. It's so
No,
weird.
it was the craziest time and like the best time because that like opened a door of me to get over so many insecurities and not be so afraid to
Yeah,
put
me
myself
too.
out there and try new things and meet new people and just be accepted.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah,
Confidence in place of insecurity is crazy. Like
exactly.
not just not being insecure, but being confident in place of being secure.
Yes, exactly.
Insane.
So different. Yeah, we had such a diverse group of people that worked there. And then like literally that's where I met you. And there were so many times where when we first met that we would just be talking and I would just sit there and be like, huh, huh. And that's why I call you my guru because literally like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like, wait, you're making me think. You're right. Oh my God, it isn't this way. It's actually a lot more simpler than that. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
You've just helped me through so much like that. And every person you meet literally always says, like, oh, Alex is the best person I've ever met. Oh, Alex is amazing. Like,
I just listen to my inner voice, and not everyone's inner voice talks in the same way, but they all, I mean, I think that ultimately, fundamentally, we all boil down to the same nuts and bolts.
mhm,
And when your inner voice speaks truth to you and you want to be in line with that truth, it resonates.
mhm,
And you can definitely feel that resonance with other people too.
mhm,
When it's not just things that we're all thinking or things that's all in the back of our minds, but it can be even fundamental truths that we know ring true that we've never even said to ourselves, and those kinds of things. People have done that to me too, where I'm like, oh yeah, like I fully identify with what you're saying.
Mhm.
It's sometimes it's too few and far between when someone can connect with you on that level, but um, I just went through a phase of my life where that part of my mind was very active,
Mhm.
and my soul really was yearning to make those connections and wake people up, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
be here,
serious. Yeah, be here, be present. I mean, you give
be
me
here
that,
with me.
yeah, you give me that book, Be Here Now, and the part that I did read, I didn't finish it, but the part that I did read was very influential, and
Hmm.
it just got me back into my spirituality, got me back into, being aware of these things and not so go, go, go,
Yeah,
just trying to come back to the present because it is all we have. And
yeah. Well, the beginning of that book is arguably the most important, I think, at least for me when I was reading it. Um, it really just goes through Richard Alpert's or Baba Ram Dass,
Mhm,
very, very famous, Western guru, lived in
mhm.
India and stuff. If you know him, you know him. If you don't, look him up, people. Sometimes I forget that we're also potentially talking to other people than just each other. But the beginning of the book just basically like it's him uh doing an autobiography of his life and how he came to be who he was.
Mhm,
And it was really important for me because it's really hard to believe in things from a secondhand account.
mhm,
For most people it takes their own subjective personal experience to believe in things or to have faith in a religion or spirituality or higher power.
definitely.
But that was the first time I was reading someone else's account, and I didn't feel any sense of malice or deceit,
Mhm,
you know. Um, and the story isn't even super miraculous, but it just shows me that there was a lot more to reality than I understood.
mhm.
Um, and I had no reason. It's weird. I can't even explain. Like you can't like logically explain why he's so trustworthy or why his story is so valid or so trustworthy. You just have to read it and you have to experience it and you have to feel what's going on there because um yeah, it can be really tough. It can be really tough to buy into telepathy or telekinesis or anything like that. Not telekinesis, but
Mhm,
there's 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 something to the inner world of our experience that isn't as private as we think it is.
mhm.
We're a lot more connected, and I think that's really scary for people. And so people get freaked out on acid trips and shit because they're like, "Oh shit, I'm on stage. Like everyone can see me. Yeah, we can all see you. We're all connected. We're all here. Everything you're going through, we all see it. We're all
Exactly.
going through it. Don't be so scared. Just let go."
Yeah.
And that's what that book taught me to do was to let go and not be so afraid of being judged by others. And
Mhm. Being
yeah,
our most authentic self.
yeah, I have to.
Exactly. It truly is like the only way, you can't add value until you figure out what's going on there and be okay to do what you know is best for your soul. And everybody knows internally what they're good at and yada yada yada, like deep, deep, deep down. And if more
Yeah,
people just followed that, I think the world would be a better place. But that also goes from, like you were saying, like people are just scared. People have a lot of fears, a lot of trauma, and yeah.
it just sucks to be alone in that, doesn't it? Like isn't it better to find people who've been what you've been through, but it just takes a lot of work to get to that point to even discover people that someone's been through what you've been through, at least
Sun keeps getting away.
someone that's in your life personally. Like, sure, there's lots of people in the world and you can read people's stories online, but it's not the same as someone who like you've met and and you talk with and hang out with, or they could be like,
Exactly.
look, I went through this thing that you went through too.
Exactly. I saw you were on, what was that place called? What, the Instagram account? Are You Happy?
Oh yeah. That was
Yeah.
so funny. So that was like literally right after we get off the phone.
Yeah.
We were talking on that Saturday on my lunch break. It was a couple weeks ago,
That's crazy.
and I was having a good day,
Yeah.
but the previous couple of weeks preceding that day, I hadn't been having good days like that, you
Mm.
know. So when I'm faced with the question like, "Are you happy?" especially in a setting like that, from a total stranger approaching me while I'm on the phone in the rain smoking a cigarette, I want to be like, "Well, I was, I was up until just now." But I don't want to. I don't want to create that. I don't want to create that image of myself. Like they're gonna like record me and post me. I could just be like, no, you don't have my permission to post me or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I was having a good day, so I was trying to be more positive. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, but that was right after we talked on the phone about happiness and like,
Mhm.
um, or about, it was something about relationships and like what makes you happy. No, I can't remember exactly what it was, but you were telling me something really profound, and I was using that later on, and I pretty much regurgitated that to the lady who asked me like, what makes you happy?
I-
Yeah, not that I didn't have a real answer. It's just that was what was on my mind,
yeah.
and it's true. It's other people,
Mhm.
being able to share experiences with other people. You could have the whole world, but if you're the only person in the world, it's worth nothing.
Literally.
You know.
Like, that's like why, I mean, they did I think I talked about this in my first episode that Harvard did like an 85-year long study or whatever. I don't know. You can Google all the details. Don't quote me on it, but like they basically decided that like the number one thing that makes us happy, and they researched it, is relationships, is other people. Without that, like you are alone. You need that connection that is really like all we have, that's being present, feeling that with everybody else, learning and growing from everybody, learning and growing with everybody, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, what was really funny about that post, so Amy, my girlfriend, for all of you viewers watching out there, it's my girlfriend's name. She's really cute. She found it online, and she was just like scrolling through stuff, and she saw an "Are you happy?" page, and she was like, this looks familiar, and then scrolled down and I was there, and she was looking through the comments, and someone was like, anyone peep the Amy on her phone? Because I had just like called her like in the last
Yeah.
like 10 minutes of my break before, like after I got off the phone with you,
Yeah.
and they're like, yeah, that's probably why he's answering the way he's answering, because he's got someone to be happy about. And I was like, that's like really cute, and I love it. I'm like blushing, like like it was just a sweet moment, and it was full circle, and
Yeah.
it's just, I don't have any expectations for what an internet comment section should look like regarding anything I'm in. Just not something I think about.
Yeah.
So to see like a comment like that, another person commented, Amy pointed all this out to me. It was so funny. Another person commented, "Oh, he's smoking a camel. He I like he's chilling." I'm like, that's just so real and raw, and I love it. Like it's like, yeah, I'm
Literally.
smoking a camel and I'm doing all right. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah. See, that's
100%.
like more shit. I love seeing stuff like that. And that's like part of me doing this podcast.
Yeah,
I heard you like it raw. Like we all get it. We all have these thoughts. And it's like, especially like, I don't know, like people can still go out there and be a good person and a positive person and all these things and still fucking be like, yeah, man, I get it. I'm smoking those Camel Crushes too. Like I know
it's
how
real
that,
life, man.
like it's just relatable and it's okay. And people
Yeah,
do it, you know, and it's like ignorant to be like, like it's just like
yeah.
let
No,
people.
the social media and the internet in general, maybe not the internet in general, social media specifically, I think uh tends to be a gentrification of culture.
Mhm.
And we don't see all of the real raw aspects of life that we do that people present. It's a big difference, um between
Definitely.
what people present, like what's going on in their actual lives or everyone else's lives who don't put their lives on social media. It's like the vast majority of people don't put their lives on social media, or at least not like daily, where you're like
This is
getting
there are
that
a
window
lot
into
of
the life. Excuse me.
there are a lot, but there is like a great majority that do not. And especially across all the different platforms, there's just so many. And like, I can't even, I can't even, sometimes I gotta put my phone away because my ADHD be acting up and I'll go on there and the next thing you know, I'm on someone's grandma's cousins or I'm buying a new thing or scrolling through some random clothes
Mm-hmm.
website and I'm like, how did I get here? Like,
You know, your brain is a little hamster in a little hamster maze, and it's like you know, when it's
crazy.
done running the wheel, it wants to go through the holes. And yeah, I do the same thing. I'll be playing a video game, and there's a bandwidth, right? There's an amount of time that it needs. It's a very short. I have a short attention span nowadays, mostly because of TikTok. I'm gonna quit that probably before I quit cigarettes, hopefully. But like if the game is not gripping me for like 15 seconds straight, like after 15 seconds of experiencing the game, if I'm not like, what's happening right now,
Mhm.
scrolling. I'll start scrolling. You know what I mean?
It's
And
terrible.
it's to find something that is more immediately gratifying.
Yeah.
And it's not the most punishing thing. Like it's not that hard to not do that, but it's really easy to do it.
It is
You
really
know,
doom
and it
scrolling.
just becomes, yeah, you just keep sliding down the slide and it never stops. You're like, woo!
Literally,
Like,
I doubt anybody could ever go through all the TikToks in the world.
no, that'd be impossible. I mean, it would probably take. I mean, you know, like how long would it take to listen to all the music in the world or watch all the movies in the world? You know, like there's probably just as much content on TikTok as there is in any other form of media. It would take years, decades, hundreds of years, maybe. I don't know.
Well, you
Do
start
this
with
and that
TikTok
there.
and I'll start with the movies.
Yeah, God, no. I have watched too much TikTok in one day
Yeah,
many times.
I think we all have. Like literally, even people that are like, I would never. I'm like, no, you have. You totally have.
Yeah, well, I'm not even. I can't even like try to hide it. It's not like, oh, you know, a couple times a day it adds up. No, I'll watch TikTok for 4 hours straight because that's my me time.
I know. I feel
And I go into drone mode, and I'm a drone. I mean, I'm not totally absent-minded. Like I
that.
skip a lot of things I'm not interested in, and I find things I really am interested in. I love it. Like it's just
Literally.
it keeps me coming back.
Literally, it's just continuous entertainment. I mean, I'll catch myself, I'll like give myself like a little treat, like I'll be like, okay, I just did all this work. Now I get like 10 minutes of TikTok. I'm just gonna go on a little treat and scroll for 10, 15 minutes, and then it turns into 30, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta get back to work.
Yeah, no, I can't. I have to binge it. It's like with food, it's harder to binge food because you know, like if I eat too much of this, I'll actually get sick, right? Like there's like more immediate physical effects. But with like media or TikTok, it's like, what is the immediate physical effect? Like you're gonna be tired the next day. Like it doesn't seem as serious of a consequence.
No, that's so true. I didn't even think about it like that, like binging media as opposed to a substance.
Yeah, right. Like something physical,
Yeah,
but like it does have a huge effect in your brain. And I'm not going to claim to have read some study on it, but that's like, you can't deny that, you know?
exactly. No, it definitely does. There's definitely so much research on it and um like just like literally the attention spans of all of us getting all this media all at once. Quick, 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 quick. That's why people like barely watch movies and all this stuff anymore.
Yeah. Hey, did you watch the meteor shower last night?
No, but I wanted to.
It's the Geminids. I wanted to also. I always set a reminder for myself, but then it's like 2 a.m. I'm like, I'm not going outside.
I
I don't
know.
even have good visibility, you know?
Well, I looked on like the map here and I would have had to drive like 35 minutes at 10 p.m. and I wake up so early for work. So it just was
Yeah.
not worth it. And you're not here and you're my meteor shower
Yeah.
partner.
Maybe that's the date. I'll look for like the next meteor shower
And then you'll come out and visit me.
and we'll come out and visit and we'll like go to a park and we'll find a good like national park up high on like a cliff or some shit like that, right?
That would be incredible. I know so many
Yeah.
places already running through my brain. I got it all.
Sick. Yes.
We'll find it. That's actually a perfect way to plan it.
Yeah,
Up
I think
by
so.
the stars. By the stars. So nice. So
It's
nice.
like it's like astrology and stuff, like there is a connection between the placement of things in the universe at certain times. I don't know what those connections are. I don't think it's as simple as Tauruses are hard-headed and Cancers are overly emotional, and Aries like to fight, and Scorpios like to instigate things for fun. I don't think that that's necessarily, I don't know. I don't know that it is or isn't, but I
I
think
mean,
it's way more complicated than that. I mean, it's
definitely.
things on a metaphysical level and a subatomic level, I mean, it's light's reaching us from millions and millions of light years away from all over the place.
Exactly.
And who's to say what the effects of that is on
Yeah.
every level? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think like everything, every science, every belief system is just an awesome way. Like not one thing is the almighty perfect answer, truest thing. I think it's all just good reflections for people and like a mirror for everybody to kind of like help understand themselves and their own lives a little bit more. And I think like a lot of people that shit on astrology, they're like, oh, blah blah blah, and I'm like, yeah, obviously your like fucking daily horoscope that's vague isn't gonna like matter. Like I understand why people don't believe it in.
Yeah, and people go into their horoscopes knowing that it's archetypal, it's a bit vague, and obviously it's like you understand how the magic trick works a little bit, but it doesn't take away from your resonance with whatever truth you find in it, right?
I
Like,
was just gonna say that too, like that even every little piece of advice is going to affect everybody differently because everybody has their own perspective and their own things going on in life.
yeah,
It's like it still is just another tool, another thing to help people going through it, adding some positive vibrations to the world, some positive encouragement and understanding and yeah.
so I used to be more of a shitter on her for astrology and stuff, just because it bugged me. People who peddled it bugged me, and I have faith and beliefs and things that aren't necessarily super factual or physical, right? But that was one of the things that I just could not like wrap my head around, when people like for people to get obsessed with so much. um for me, like my Roman Empire is the chakra system, and like chakra yoga and that kind of stuff, and working with bodily energy,
Mhm.
um because that's something that we all can share and relate to.
Mhm.
We do have these, like, even if you don't believe in like the energy centers, and we've talked about this plenty of times, but even if you don't believe in the metaphysical energy that we can't see with our own eyes welling up in certain parts of our body, um it's still a great metaphor. They're all like every chakra is a great metaphor for parts of our lives that we all experience. It's designed to be all encompassing of the universal experience, from physicality to spirituality, and full connection with all those dimensions. um, and that just made sense to me. And not only did it make sense to me, it like I could feel it and I could work with it, and it was like actual tools. And until I had a mental image of what to do or where to put my mind, I didn't even know I could access those kinds of feelings and energies. It's been really, really helpful.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I love the way you just worded that. It is so true. I mean, me and you talk about this shit all under the sun and the way the universe works.
Yeah.
How people just get so bothered by other people just using tools and trying to have another understanding for this universe. Because, like,
Hmm.
who can explain this shit? Like, we all literally just popped out one day, like, like, what is going on? Like, okay, now I need to figure this. Wait, I have a body. Wait, I have a mind, all of this stuff. And, like, I agree. And that's what you have influenced back into me and helped me dive back into that part. Because I think I was always supposed to be a more spiritual person, not conform to one specific religion or anything, and just more so
Hmm.
less of a less of like I think it like makes it more like makes it less specific, if that makes sense. Like
Hmm.
it's not so structured. It's more like you said for everybody. You worded it better than me.
It's all encompassing. It's universal, the universal experience. I mean, the borders between countries, the laws we have in place, they're all just figments of our imagination.
Mhm.
They're not real.
All
The
just made
real
up.
world is the grass and the oceans and the trees. The real world is us, our bodies, the sunlight, the air, the fruit, like that's what the real world is. And we get so caught up in the game. We think that the real world is stock markets and, holiday traditions and homophobia, like
Dead
it's
ass
it's not.
though.
It's not the real world.
No, it's not at all. And everybody just gets so caught up because we're all raised in this world where we're taught into believe these certain things, and people born into certain families are really strong in their opinions about certain things in different cultures. And
Yeah.
can
Because
we
it's all they know.
yeah, exactly. And it's like it's not their fault. But
No, yeah,
I wish more people could understand and kind of drop those barriers and realize that, like, look, in a literal sense, we're all humans. We all
yeah.
these energetic beings being here, connecting with the earth, all of this stuff. And like I'm so happy you brought that up too. Like we get so caught up in the materialistic things and money and all of this stuff. And it's just like all of these things were just made up one day. Like we never really needed.
Yeah, it's fabrications.
Yeah, we all know we like came before technology, came before grocery stores and shit like that. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah, when I think about like my heart, like my physical heart, or
Mhm.
my spleen, or my kidney, I'm like, these things are like hundreds of thousands of years old. Like even like penises and vaginas, and like this is like some ancient thing. Like, how do we not have statues of vaginas everywhere, or dicks? Like,
Yes.
how do we not, like, these are like some ancient primordial like symbols. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I know a lot of like cultures around the world probably do
Yeah.
like idolize or symbolize these things because yeah, it's old, it's crazy, there's some divinity to it too, or just our existence. Like it's nuts.
No, that's so true. And it's like I feel like had we had we tuned more into our body and what was going on, I could totally see us having like, oh, the almighty spleen, or like shit like that.
Right.
Just like actually really acknowledging like what's inside, what we are, not just
Yeah.
this one ego and this one ego. And
Speaking of egos, I wanted to go back to what you said about people being raised in their families and like indoctrinated into their belief systems a little bit. And it made me think of like one of the most polarizing ideas or concepts to me is a Nazi child. A Nazi child. Because I think we all share, well, not we all, except for Nazis. Everyone but Nazis shares a visceral anger towards that sort of fascist mindset to an unhealthy degree in which you might want to actually cause someone harm, which is never the answer, right? Like technically, you know. So, but what do you do when that Nazi is a child? Like you like you're not gonna, like, yeah, you'd want to run over a Nazi with your car, right? And
right.
like you're probably gonna get really good sleep that night. But if that Nazi was a child, how do you what's the word I'm looking for? Compartmentalize that reality, like that child doesn't know any better, you'd think, but they hold such hateful ideologies that it's almost like too far gone to even ever fix when they don't look at other people as people. They look at them as objects that need to be thrown away.
Yeah, I think I mean, at least for me,
And I'll
that's
tell you why I'm thinking about this in a second, but you go ahead.
okay. I was just gonna say, like, that's why I'm like, hey, can everybody forget all that stuff just because it's causing so much harm that doesn't need to be there. So much negativity in this world that is adding to the universal vibration and just bringing it down for like literally no reason. Like that shit doesn't matter. All that matters is we need to breathe and eat and sleep and take care of ourselves and take care of the world. And yeah, but how did you get to this? I love this very
Um,
very dramatic, not dramatic, but very, very like what's the working word? Gosh.
theatrical.
Yeah, I guess.
Uh, there's
Crazy.
a better word. It's I'm sundowning right now. It's getting too close to my nap time. I'm just kidding. I'm not. I don't have Alzheimer's. No, but I was thinking about Nazi children when I was playing Final Fantasy 16 last night. Um. So I
Normal
don't know if you
thoughts during
know
fantasy football.
what.
Normal thoughts during video games.
Well, it wasn't just a random. It's because in the game there's a class of people who are born with magical powers, um, and they're seen as unnatural, so they're branded with a huge brand on their face, and they're pretty much they're no, they are used as slave labor.
Oh,
They're
God.
actual slaves. They're spit on and murdered and desecrated and treated like absolute garbage. Yeah, this is the darkest Final Fantasy game that's ever been made. Like there's swear words, and I went to a brothel and shit was getting going down there.
A brothel.
Yeah, it's in the game, not in real life. Um, and so I was on this little side quest where this little girl is like, "Hey, my pet Chloe ran off. She's all white hair. Can you go find her?" And we were just dealing with like this other person who lost their dog. So I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll go find your dog or your cat or whatever it is." And I go and I look where someone said she was, and there was this like little girl dead in a ditch, with white hair. And I find her, and then the other little girl comes over, and it was like her slave owner family's daughter, essentially, that was like claiming her as her plaything. And then she was like, "Oh, wake up already, get up, you lazy whatever," like kicking her and shit. And then me as the main
Why
character.
are you sleeping?
Yeah, dude, it was so fucked up. And then like the main character is one of those branded, right? So he's been oppressed his whole life up until that point, and he starts going off on this little girl. Like you've got dialogue options, and I choose the harsher reaction. And he's like, if she wasn't born with that brand, she would be just another little girl like you, and you could be the one dead in that ditch. And it was this moment when the little girl started realizing she was so young, she's so impressionable still, that she can still be impressioned by someone else like this. And she starts crying and like realizing what she's done. And it was like, oh my God, this is fucking like emotional.
Right?
Like this is like a little Nazi child who was like, "What? Jews are people too? That's fucking wild. That's crazy, dude. Like
Literally
what?"
had that epiphany moment finally. Like,
Yeah. And I was like, "Damn, this game is really like
okay,
deep.
sorry.
Like this
I
is
love
deeper
that.
than yeah, it's one of the deepest in the franchise ever in terms of like real like issues and stuff."
Yeah, I mean, I love that you brought this up just because I really love controversial topics, of course. And like, that's
Yeah.
freaking fucking crazy that that's a video game and that people
Yeah, and that
play
it's Final
that.
Fantasy.
Like, that's insane. Like, what's the age limit on that?
It's the first M-rated Final Fantasy game ever. Well, I don't know about ever. It's the first mainline, at least, Final Fantasy game
Well, that's
that's rated M.
absolutely insane. I mean, hate that it had to be so dark, but love that the guy was like, hey, perspective, that literally could have been you. Like, we are all humans. We are all just trying to do our best and live in this life. And some people are just born into certain cultures and religions and whatever that experience like a lot of hate and violence, and it's not
Yeah.
right. Like, we all just came here, we didn't mean to. We had no option. It was just like, here, you're fucking going into life, into this
Yeah.
with these challenges, and it's just like, oh my God, crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. People are just thrown into this life, and then if they're subjugated or oppressed, like they're the best option for them is to just be subservient and keep their head down and just get by day through day and hope that one day something changes, but that someone else will do it for them,
Yeah.
but if it's that same thought we all have, like if everyone could come together on one idea or one goal or one mission, like the world could be changed in a day, you
Right.
know.
Right. But there's people out
Just
there.
scary.
There's people out there waking up. I've been saying for years, like, the world is waking up, people. We're slowly getting on the wave. People are over this shit. They're so sick of it. And like, at least for me,
Yeah.
I'm personally so sick of seeing the hurt. Like, because I've been at a low point, feeling like there's no hope for the world, no hope for myself, no hope for anybody, feeling so alone, so just crushed and broken. And like, there's so much of that going around. And I just
Yeah.
hate seeing it. I hate seeing the violence, the
and,
judgment.
and it looks like it might be getting worse in the next year. There's a lot of talk about like military conflict with China, and Korea and Russia and Iran, and it's not looking good, man. There's just like a lot of rising conflict right now, and like as bad as it's been, like it seems like the powers that be are not afraid to make it worse. And it's a diametric opposition between it's not easy to say good and evil, but it's always between my values versus your values, right? And it all becomes evil at the end of the day. You know, there's no good in killing, and it's just hard though, because it's like in an individual situation, like if I'm in the woods and a bear or a leopard comes up on me, leopard, I don't know, mountain lion, I'm gonna fight for my survival. I'm gonna kill the other animal, right? Like even if I'm not a person, if I'm just a wolf and in a man's body or whatever.
Oh,
You know, you're gonna fight for survival, right? Like I mean that's only natural. That's like our instinct.
mhm.
So it's just really it's really tricky where you draw the line. I mean obviously like war crimes and mass murder like are way across the line, but the apathetic attitude that our world governments have towards these war crimes and towards these things that are happening really disorients the public into being complacent with it, because we look to our superiors and our authority figures to know how to feel about things. um, and it takes a huge amount of revolutionary outcry to really feel what we should be feeling
Mhm,
about them, you
mhm.
know. And it sucks because now we feel like the outcasts, we feel like the others, we feel like because we're not in the mainstream what they're thinking, you know, um, that will be rejected and
Mhm,
will be lumped in with the oppressed.
mhm.
And it's fucking scary, dude. It's fuck people are absolutely terrifying. It's the scariest thing on earth.
It is. And I always say strength in numbers. Like if more people come to we're just gonna call it the light side, okay? The light side, the lighter side, the more compassionate
Yeah,
standing
the
part of
compassion. Yeah,
like we need to stop with all this stuff. Like it like I would love to step into the mind of the people that are completely opposite as me and like really believe in like all of this violence in the world and that,
yeah.
oh, this is just the way the world works, and it's like, no, that's the way you think, like.
Yeah, I don't know. I think with people like that, it's tough to really get in their heads with it because it's not really super logical. I think it's very emotional. It's an emotional response to fear response, you know. Um, but yeah, I think it's tough to ever try to use reason or logic with people like that because they're not using reason or logic to be xenophobic or racist or a bigot. You know, it's an emotional response to protect their egos and their self interests. And when you try to have a real conversation about that kind of stuff, like the conversation is just going to devolve. Either the person is actually open to rationally thinking about themselves
Mhm,
and doing self-reflection,
mhm,
or it's going to be too taxing on their mind and it's going to cause them to become stressed out and lash out and become defensive and start using logical fallacies to talk you in circles.
mhm.
And you know I think that's probably the case for most people who think like that. That's probably what you're going to experience.
Yeah.
I think you have to show someone, you have to make them feel something, right? You have to make them not feel guilt, but to feel that compassion,
Mhm.
um, to really like give them that perspective shift. Like if they could live a day in that other type of person's shoes, you know, um, that's really the only way to do it. But that's fucking hard. I don't know how to do that, dude. I don't know.
I mean, it's just kind of trying to, like influencing people more to try to put themselves in the other person's shoes. Like whenever I have friends that come to me with advice and everything, and they're like mad at somebody, like, oh, well, she's being this way or he's being this way, and blah, 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 blah. They won't accept this. And they're just like assuming things, whatever. And I'm like, can you like actually put yourself in their shoes, in the situation, and like see where they might be coming from, see how they might be defensive or whatever, and just try to understand. And that's why another one of my favorite things is just trying to get people to understand that people are just products of their environments. We're all learned behaviors, learned mindsets, learns whatever. My cat won't stop scratching at the door. Oh my gosh. But
That was Umi earlier. I was Amy and I were in the bedroom wrestling, and the cat kept punching at the bottom of the door, just ripping at the doormat that was in front of my door, and like paw under there, and like doing this. I'm like, I'm doing the same thing. That's kind of crazy.
he's like, come on, come on. Oh, that's hilarious.
I was only a little distracted. Cats
Uh,
are funny. I love them.
You're hilarious.
I try.
Yeah.
I want to do stand-up comedy.
You should. I've said this for so long. You need to make silly TikToks or stand up or something. Like you're just goofy goober.
I don't know if I could do the TikToks. I mean, maybe eventually. I'm just too much of a perfectionist and too self-aware to ever just post something. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that's true, but that's how I felt in the past.
See, I've gotten to the point where like I just literally don't care anymore. I'm just like, whatever. People are gonna judge me for posting something that makes me personally laugh, and maybe somebody else like, come on, like live your life.
But I've been writing some jokes. I didn't actually write the jokes down or write them out, like flesh them out, but I have a couple of kernels. But I've been writing jokes. I've been writing down ideas, and I want to like put together like a couple different like sets, like 15-minute sets, and maybe go and do some open mics soon, because it's really like easy, and all I have to do is get on stage and like be funny. Like it can't be that hard. Just I'll have a couple tequilas and I'll be the best ever.
Literally. Couple tequilas, one Camel Crush, you're good to go.
Well, yeah, I'll be thriving.
Yeah, exactly.
Take my shirt off and everything. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would absolutely love that. Well, I wish you had a joke to say, but that's okay. You make me laugh all the time.
Yeah, it's yeah, the punchline joke stuff. Like I feel like I have a good judgment for when a joke's funny, but it's hard for me to just draw from the ether.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm more of like an improv guy. I'm like be witty and kind
Yeah,
of quick and
yeah,
reactive.
yeah, I get that. See, I always like to think in my head. I'm really good in the moment. Like I'm really good in my head thinking of comebacks and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so funny. But then live, I'm like, I say this. Oh,
It's tough. Everyone's so judgmental. You
I
know,
know.
I'm not opposed to having an online persona. I'm just I'm shy. I'm a
That's
shy little boy.
Yeah, I get that. Well, you can find you a beanhead at what is it? Beanhead what?
No, my Instagram. My cocktail Instagram. I only have a couple pictures, but it's my professional account. Yes. That's sun-kissed Icarus with periods in between the words. So sun dot Icarus, sun kissed, sun. Oh my God, sun dot kissed dot Icarus.
Fortunately, we're coming to an end of this. This has been
Say
absolutely
fortunately.
unfortunately. I would
Oh,
love
on okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would sit here and talk with you all day, every day if I could. But this was absolutely amazing. I think we touched on really, really good topics, and
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm just so happy that you wanted to do this with me, and I get to show the world you and your brain and your awesome, compassionate, psychedelic brain that really helps give the world perspective. And it's just to know you is to love you. And I appreciate
Oh,
Yeah.
I appreciate it. I love you too, Nikki. Thank you. I want to do this. I would do this as many times as you want. If you have no guests, if Martha Stewart is not available that week, you call me and I'll be your backup for every episode. You
Amazing.
know, when you have an itinerary, I'll be here for it.
I would love that. I appreciate you always so supportive of me. And for the people listening, if they want to add in the comments and say, we want more Alex, like please let me know. And again, as always, if anyone has any questions, comments, concerns, topics they want to be covered, please let me know. You can message our Instagram at Heard You Like It Raw. And yeah, the ending song of this week that I had Alex choose, the guest of honor gets to choose. He chose Ladders by Mac Miller. And why did you choose that?
You got to open your mind, people. You got to find your way up. That ladder, it's imaginary. You got to imagine it, though.
Yep.
You climb, baby.
Amazing.
I'm
All right.
crazy.
Well, you're authentic, and the world needs more authenticity. So thank you for your time and blessing us with your
Course.
energy. Yeah,
Blessings.
literally, that's pretty much it. All right, that concludes the episode. Thank you for listening, and stay tuned for next week, covering even more topics under the sun and just open perspectives and all of that. Peace and blessings. I love you all.
Hooty hoo!
Bye.